Hurdle. We are live on what's it? Black Friday. Black Friday. I was out walking my puppy earlier before we get into this. Mrs. Paula, thank you so much. I went up the hill with you. So, um, yeah, I was out walking my puppy this morning, and my next door neighbor is puppy sitting for his daughter. And he mentioned that, oh, it's Black Friday and my family is going out Black Friday shopping. And I thought to myself, Daryl, you didn't even know it was Black Friday. You know, I am so out of touch with the crowd and spending money. Sorry, excuse my coughing thing there. But I'm going to start the poll question. And I want to get into this just so that we make sure, hi Debbie Sue, so that we don't waste too much time, because I don't want to go off on too many tangents this morning. And so thinking about yesterday being Thanksgiving, and the fact that my friend Julie put up that she was starting a merch store where she was going to donate to a wedding dress shop, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more later, that takes its proceeds and helps to stop human trafficking. And then I thought about my channel, where when I monetize, because I'm getting close, I'm almost at 900 subscribers. So when I'm monetized, all the proceeds from my channel will go to help the homeless in my community where I live here. And that was a conscious decision that I made when I decided to start a YouTube channel. Was I said, what is the point of me starting a YouTube channel? And I knew that I wanted to help people with their finances, because I come from no finances, from zero, into paying off debt, saving for a future, retiring early, all of those things. I came from starting with nothing. And I said, I can help other people who have nothing. And I saw a lot of YouTube channels. I watched YouTube for many, many years. Oh, Julie is here. Julie, I'm going to talk about what you did a little bit later. I've already mentioned it, but I'm going to talk more about it a little bit later, and connect it with other channels that are doing the same thing. But what I was talking about was that I started with nothing. And I was able to pay off debt. I was able to build wealth, and all of those things from nothing. And so when I started my YouTube channel, I said, I don't need other people's money. That's not why I'm starting YouTube. There are many, many reasons that I support people starting YouTube channels, whatever they're trying to pay off debt, whether they're trying to grow their wealth, for whatever reason. I support people making all the money they can on YouTube. But for me personally, I didn't want to start the channel to make money. I just didn't. And so I thought, how could I make this a purpose that was really important to me, to start this channel and to stay with the channel when things got rough? So that's what I did, was I decided right in myself, any proceeds I make from this channel will go to the homeless in my community. And for that reason, one, I've never had to push my channel. Two, I told myself before I ever started the channel, there will be no memberships, there will be no buy me a coffees, because I have saved and invested my money so that I'm financially free. And so, yes, there are millionaires on YouTube still making money. I get that, okay? And that's okay for them, right? But my whole thing is to save your money. That's what I want all my viewers. Keep your money, save your money, pay off your debts, invest your money, build your wealth. You don't need to buy me a coffee if you're trying to pay off your debts, or if you're trying to build your wealth and retire early, because that's what I want for people from my channel, is I want you to pay off debt, build wealth, retire early. That's it. And none of that involves giving me anything. So anyway, so that's how my channel started. And hi everybody, make sure that you type fire in the chat, and please hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Hi, Teresa. Good morning. Happy day after Thanksgiving and happy Black Friday, because apparently a lot of people are out shopping. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of spending money, as you can tell. You know, from my frugalness and my minimalism, I'm just not a big fan. You know, I try to keep my money, invest my money, and build more wealth with my money. So that's what I do, in case you don't know me. So the reason that the homeless are so important to me, as many of you know, is that I was homeless. And so once a month in my community, I like to feed dinner to the homeless at the soup kitchen. That's one of my charities. Another thing that I do is I join this semi-religious organization, not that I'm religious with them, but their semi-religious organization to hand out lunches. And we go to motels in my community, we go to trailer parks in my community, and we hand out free lunches. And it's for families, anybody that wants them. I love doing that because it helps people in my community. And so I feel that my community is giving to me. I have rentals here. They are giving to me and supporting my retirement. I need to give something back to my community. And so that's just who I am. And so with this Thanksgiving, it's a reflective time for me about being grateful for everything that I have. Because I tell you, when you come from nothing and you have a little something, you're very grateful. You're very grateful. And so I'm also grateful for the people that have helped me to get here. You know, I did not get here on my own. Many, many people fed me when I didn't have food. You all know I fished for food. I did the best I could do. And so I'm very grateful for everybody who helped me along the way. So what I want to talk about is there are different types of fire, right? Oh, it's Nandy B. Hi, Nandy. Thank you for coming. Nandy has a channel, and hopefully she has typed fire in the chat, but Nandy has a channel for women, and for women to become CEOs of their own business. And I think that's a fabulous calling that she has for her channel. So Nandy, type fire in the chat and everyone can come to your channel. And so there are different types of fire. I'm not at Fat Fire, where you can just buy anything you want. Hi, Ludacrush. This is my first time seeing you. Please hit the like and subscribe button as you're coming in. I hope I remember to say that enough. But I'm going to talk about fire, and then I'm going to talk about how financial freedom and fire and philanthropy work together. So my channel is built on that premise. But there's lean fire, there's fat fire, which is like the top of the line fire, where you got well over $100,000 a year coming in and you can just buy and go on vacations and do all that kind of stuff. There's coast fire, where you save up a lot of money sort of in the beginning when you're younger. Let's just say by the time you're 35 or 40. And because that money was already invested, you don't have to invest anymore. Now, most of the time people do. They do invest more, but you don't have to invest anymore. And by the time you reach retirement age, you have millions of dollars. Okay, that's coast fire. Barista fire, which you could say I'm sort of barista fire. You could say I'm sort of lean fire, you know, where my side hustle now in retirement is my teaching, right? And I teach as an adjunct at colleges. And so that also helped me to put down payments on my real estate. So in the beginning, when I first started buying real estate, I would put 15% down or 20% down, but I would have to borrow that money. And then I would use my teaching income to pay off that loan on that. And so I'm doing the same thing right now in 2025. Is I bought rental properties in 2025. I borrowed the money from myself on lines of credit, and I'm bringing my teaching income home as opposed to saving it in retirement accounts to pay off that down payment on the rental properties that I bought this year. So that is what I do. I'm either taking my teaching income and saving it into retirement accounts, or it's being used to invest to get more rental properties. And so we all know in 2026, I'm not buying any more rental properties. We are paying off debt and we're building savings. That's what we're doing in 2026. So you could say I'm lean fire in that I have just enough to retire early. You know, I retired early on a low income and I still have a low income. However, I live way below my means. As you all saw, I just spent, I think, $500 during the month of November. And my goal is to spend less than $900, which is my pension. So if I can live on less than my pension income, right? Now, this is my pension. I have to explain all this stuff. The $900 is my pension leftover after all my bills are paid. Okay? So that's the leftover money. It's for food, it's for gas, it's for whatever, you know, paying down credit cards. That's after the basic expenses are covered. This past month, I was able to have food and gas and other small expenses, $500. So, and I'm going to keep trying to do that. Now, having said that, we won't be doing that in January because in January I'm going to Hawaii. And as I mentioned, when I go on vacation, that's my time to have fun. But normally when I'm home, less than $900 a month. Hi, Belt Loop, great to see you. Please type fire in the chat and people can come to your channel. Belt Loop is a new channel that I'm following. So let's get into this whole philanthropy thing. You've heard about my past and you know that my channel was started with philanthropy in mind. So let's talk about this. So the greatest asset in your FIRE journey isn't your portfolio balance. It's the positive impact that being financially independent can have both on your community and on the causes that you really believe in. So we'll talk about Julie for 2 seconds and then I'm going to get into this a little bit later. But she found a cause that she believed in. And because she is financially stable on her own, she said, I'm going to use some of my YouTube income from a merch store. Actually, the whole thing from the merch store, but it's not like all of her YouTube income. But she's creating a store with merch, and I bought a t-shirt yesterday, you guys. I don't spend money. And yesterday, when I saw her cause, I spent money. So I bought me a t-shirt so I can get out on my motorcycle and ride and rep the t-shirt there. And she has a cause. And so because she is financially stable in and of herself, right, she can afford to do this. Not everyone can afford to be a philanthropist, but she can do that because she's a minimalist and because she knows her finances. And I know my finances, which is why I can be a philanthropist. So, what I'm talking about here is that the gratitude that I have, it gives me perspective, right? It's not about me wanting more. It's about me having enough and saying, okay, now it's time to give back. And I've been giving back all along the way. In my trust, I have charities listed in my trust. So I have been giving back over the years. One of my volunteer activities, see, we keep going off on side tangents here. One of my volunteer activities is going into jails. No matter where I live, I go into jails to visit the inmates. Because I've never been to jail, I want to help people who are in jail not to come back to jail. And so I've done that in every community, and I'm getting ready to do that here in this community. So as you can tell, I have a whole bunch of different things that I like to do that serve my community. That's my thing because of my gratitude of the life that I have. And and Belt Loop says, I think the emphasis is the way things should be. You know, there are a lot of YouTubers that donate to different charities. And I know we don't hear about it because a lot of YouTubers, they need their money. And that's absolutely 100%, I'm behind that. I am absolutely. If that's what you need, there was a lady I heard, because I watch a lot of YouTube. There was a lady, and I've mentioned this before, that I heard she was on YouTube raising money to hire an attorney to get her son back. Her son was taken from her by Child Protective Services. And she needed to hire an attorney, and her YouTube channel was to get money to hire an attorney. So everyone has their YouTube channel for different reasons. And whatever your reason is and whatever you do on your channel, I am 100% supportive, right? I don't think everybody should be trying to do philanthropy on their channel, but that's near and dear to my heart. So if that's what you're doing, of course I'm in, right? Of course I'm in. So on my channel, you'll never see merch. I can promise you that, right? And even though Julie is doing it, which is a beautiful idea, which I never thought of, right? I never thought have merch and then take 100% of the merch proceeds and donate them to the homeless. I never thought of it, didn't hear about it. I now know about it. But I would not do that on my channel because all I want is AdSense revenue. I want the advertisers on YouTube to donate to my community. That's been my whole premise since the day I started my channel. So no donations, right? You know, some people have a Cash App, like if they can't pay their rent or something, right? So because I own my home, we won't be doing donations through Cash App or any of that kind of stuff. No paid memberships, because again, on my channel, this is all about you paying off your debt, you investing your money so that you can build wealth, so that you can retire early. I want everybody to retire early. I do, I really do, because it's beautiful. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. So, good morning. Lisa J. Stocks is here, and she has a fabulous channel. I'm following her because I'm starting to build my brokerage account, right? I have retirement accounts. I have real estate to fund my retirement. I have my pension, and now I've applied for Social Security. So I'm going to have about 6 streams of income coming in. But I've never built an after-tax brokerage account. Everything I have is pre-tax or Roth. And so now, thanks to Lisa J. Stocks, who keeps it in the forefront of my head to take a little bit of money and put it into my brokerage account. See, I've been putting a little bit of my money, and this is only the last 3 or 4 months, a little bit of my money every time some income comes in from one of all these different sources that I have into savings. And I know you go, well, this guy's old. Why is he just starting his savings? Well, it's been my mindset that all my money has to work hard to make more money. And so that's been my mindset. But now I'm shifting And so now I want an after-tax brokerage account, which I should never have to touch. See, I'm building wealth on things I'm never going to ever have to use. They will go to someone. They'll go to charity through my trust, or they will go to my grandchildren. They will go to someone, but I should never have to use that money. That is the plan. As long as I'm frugal and live on less than what I bring in. And so if I can live on my pension and Social Security, that means all rental income and all teaching income will be able to go to charity someday. So there you go. And just so y'all know, all my rental properties are in my trust. So they can't be sold, but the income generated by the rental properties goes where it's supposed to go. That's how I have that set up. So before I go too much further, because I really wanted to get into this, and making sure I'm puppy sitting, and my puppy is laying down here sleeping, which is just fabulous, just fabulous. He is being perfect. I really want to get into talking about, somebody had a deleted message. Okay. Thank you, Lisa. So I'm sorry, I didn't see it because I'm looking back and forth. And as you all know, I am a nervous Nelly on lives. So I'm all freaked out. And because of that, I never finished the poll before the live. We're going to see if we get to do that today. I'm going to close the poll and show it in the live at the end. But let's talk about Julie first. When she did this yesterday, she came out with a video that said she was starting a merch store that would go to help stop human trafficking, right? That's a cause I can get behind. You know, another one are people that help animals. But right now I'm going to talk about Julie, right? And so what did I do? I posted her video on my community tab because I was trying to show my support. Then I came back and I found the exact link to her merch store, and I put that on my community tab. Because I am an IT guy, I'm a retired IT guy, what I learned doing IT for many, many years is to make things easy on the people you're supporting. Don't make them, like I work for federal judges. Federal judges don't want to have to click through here, click through here, click through here. They want it very quick, very easy, give it directly to them. So I got Julie's link to her store and put just the link in my post. So people don't have to go here and then read there and then go here and read over there. I want to make it easy for people to support stopping human trafficking. And so that's why I did that. Then after I did that, I went and bought a t-shirt, which I have to tell you guys, I have tons of t-shirts. You know, I used to take bags and bags of my brand new Harley t-shirts and just give them away. I would take them, let's say, to that place where I was telling you where we give lunches out, you know, at motels and trailer parks around my town. They also have a clothes closet. They also let homeless people come there and shower and wash clothes. They have a washing machine and everything. They also have a dentist that comes in there to help the homeless people. So I would take bags of brand new Harley t-shirts and just donate them. So I have plenty of t-shirts, okay? But this is a cause. I have not bought a t-shirt in years, but when I find a cause that I want to get behind, I will come out of pocket. Okay, I will. So Julie did this and it just really touched my heart. And I said, you know, this is something, one, that I never thought that I could do with my channel. I still don't think that I'll ever do this because I want to keep my channel to its original promise that I made. And so, but I love what Julie thought of. You know, I think it's just brilliant. Just brilliant to have a merch store where 100% of the proceeds go to the cause that she believes in. And it's such a worthy cause, stopping human trafficking. So Belt Loop was asking if I was in law enforcement. I was not. I am an IT person and I worked for the federal courts. And I ended up retiring from the courts in DC. But just to give you guys a little background, I was in Vermont, and this is how blessed I am. I was in Vermont, and it was 2 weeks before Christmas. And the company that I worked for shut the whole plant down. There were whole families that worked there at this little manufacturing plant in Vermont. 2 weeks before Christmas, they shut the plant down and moved all the jobs to Mexico. And so I'm looking for a job before Christmas in the snow in Vermont. And I get this job with the federal government as a desktop PC support person. And I work my way up to being a server administrator. And so that was my job with the federal courts, was most of my years was as a server administrator. And so I moved from Vermont to Miami to DC. And then I retired from the court in DC. But I supported federal judges and their law clerks, of course, and the rest of the court family, like all the staff. So my office supported the staff, we supported the judges, and a lot of the judges in my court, because I was in the Court of Appeals in DC, a lot of the judges in my court are now in the US Supreme Court because they get promoted up. And so some of your Supreme Court justices I worked for, in DC. Some of them were nice, some of them, wouldn't speak to you. You would only speak to their secretary or something. So anyway, that's what I did, right? Thank you, Julie, for being here. And so the other thing that I want to talk about is, because Julie's heading out, so I've talked about her merch store. And so I'll be posting more about that. And go to her channel at Happy on Monday. She talks, I love her channel name. Happy on Monday is when you are retired. And she and I both retired early. Actually, we retired at the same age early, at 58. But when you are retired early, you are happy on Monday. Because I tell you, there is no happier feeling than not having to get up and go to work and go through that commute on a Monday morning. Because I tell you, the commute in DC, when you're coming from Maryland, I don't care where you're coming from. If you're coming into DC, that commute is brutal. I mean, I bought a house that was 15 miles from my job, hour and a half in the car each way. So that's 3 hours a day that I spent in my car. And so I will tell you all another side trip story. Everybody just sit down, because Daryl just keeps going left and keeps going right. I would listen to audiobooks about building wealth, about paying off debt, about real estate during those 3 hours. I was told that your car should be a rolling university. And that's what I did. When I was getting my PhD, I would convert articles, research articles that I was supposed to be studying to do my research. I would convert them to audio. I had some software way back when. And I would listen to these boring research articles for the 3 hours while I was in my car. I always believed that you should make every second count. Either it should be learning to make more money or getting your education. Now, that's just me. I'm not saying everybody should do that. Maybe you should just listen to music, on your way to work. However, that's what I did. That's what I did. Hi, Shadow Scout Swede. Thank you for coming in. And hi, Marlene Motivates. Thank you for coming in. Everybody, please hit the like and subscribe button. Now, I'm only halfway through this live, but at least I've gotten to the points. And I've gotten to my main point, which was talking about Julie yesterday and her donating 100% from her merch store on her channel to help stop human trafficking. But that reminded me of another channel that I gave a shout out to, or another charity rather, that I gave a shout out to back over the summer. There was this lady, I watch her YouTube channel, and she does personal finance, right? And she's become a certified financial planner over the years. And so she talked about a charity being hosted or supported by big YouTubers. And they are asking other YouTubers to share their charity and their fundraising story. And I said, I'm going to do that because I had not heard of that before. So I'm going to talk about that now. And so, MrBeast and Mark Rober. Now, I looked up yesterday, MrBeast, 428 million subscribers. Mark Rober has 79 million subscribers. Okay, I'm trying to get to 900 subscribers. Okay, these are big people. I don't necessarily watch the big YouTuber channels because I'm trying to support small YouTubers to get monetized so that they can get the money that they want for whatever reason that they want the money. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not saying anybody should donate to charity with their YouTube income or any parts of it. I am saying that I support small YouTubers making money however, for whatever reason that they need the money. Again, my channel is about pay off your debt if that's what you need your money for. Invest your money if that's what you need your YouTube income for, right? If it can get you financial freedom where you could retire early, if that's what your YouTube channel is for. But these folks who have millions of dollars, right? Now, if you have 450 or 60 million subscribers, then you're making a lot of money on YouTube. And so MrBeast and Mark Rober, back over the summer, I heard about this, and I have it on my channel. I don't know which video or short I put this in, but I asked everybody to donate to their charity. And they were trying to raise $40 million by August. And it was to help 2 million people around the world have clean water. And last year, they did something with cleaning up the ocean, right? Where they asked for donations to clean up garbage out of the ocean. And so my point is, when I heard about Julie yesterday, it reminded me to go back and look and get more details on what MrBeast and Mark Rober were doing over the summer. Now, these are two big YouTubers who are asking all other YouTubers, big and small, to just put a little blurb in their YouTube video that says, please donate to the, I think it's watertreatment.org. I'll have to put it in the show notes, and it may be in the show notes already. But they inspired me because they already have millions and millions of dollars, right? Do they really need your money? They don't need you giving it to them. Do you really need to buy somebody with millions and millions of dollars a coffee? I personally, no, I don't think so. That's just my own opinion. So, and Shadow Scout Swede, thank you for typing fire in the chat because that's what I want everybody to do. Belt Loop says that I am at 890 subscribers. So I am 10 away. I knew I was getting close to 900 because I was over 950, I was over 970, but it slowed down. And the neat thing about my channel is because I am not in this to get rich, right? I don't care. I'm not going to do lives for 6 hours and 7 hours trying to get all the watch hours and and all of those things because this is a retirement avocation. You know, I am doing this to help the homeless, but I'm not going to kill myself and make this a job. I'm in early retirement. I'm enjoying life. I will do a lot more vacationing in 2026 and 2027 and beyond. Because for me, early retirement is about enjoying life. And so if YouTube ever becomes a job for me, where, oh, I've got to work all these hours, I can tell you now, I'm not working a whole bunch of hours. You know, my teaching slowed down in 2025. And so I wrote to my boss just the other day, another side trip. Here goes Daryl again. I wrote to my boss the other day and I said, all of 2025, my teaching assignments went down. And I said, because I assumed it was me. I said, what did I do wrong? Because I had a fabulous 2024. They gave me a ton of classes. 2025, crickets. Now, 2025 was a fabulous year because I got to enjoy life. I was not working so hard. So there are benefits to not getting teaching assignments. And I was grateful for that. But at the end of this year, I've written to her, and she said that the scheduling team got changed last year. And a lot of the teaching requests that professors and deans and associate deans had didn't get transferred over to the new scheduling team. So it wasn't me. And she said it's perfect timing because she is now putting in her requests for teaching assignments for 2026. So chances are I'll be teaching a little bit more than I did in 2025. But 2025, and well, okay, I'm going to go to what Belt Loop said here in just a second. I have to find that again. But Belt Loop said something about memberships. Okay, so what he's saying is that memberships pay a lot more than what you will receive for views. So he's saying that the argument for memberships is a convincing argument. And I agree. I absolutely agree. Matter of fact, I've done videos, so you guys can go back and see my videos on this, where I've talked about various streams of YouTube income and how to increase your YouTube income, because I want everybody to maximize their YouTube income. That's just not me. See, so, and I'm okay with that. I love for people to maximize your income. As Lisa J. Stocks was saying this morning, she said, I want my money to go out and make more money. So if you can have memberships, you can have merch, even if you're not monetized, you can have merch. You don't have to wait until monetization to start bringing in income from your YouTube followers. So also, as I told my friend Tiger at Tiger on Fire, he and his wife, who are retired early, they were doing DoorDash. And I was talking to him one day and I said, hey, record your DoorDash and put it on your YouTube channel so that you're stacking income. Do whatever you can. Have DoorDash, have YouTube, have memberships, have merch, have the Buy Me a Coffee. Anything you can do. Now, there was one lady that I used to watch. I don't watch her anymore, but she was paying off debt. You know, I watch a lot of people paying off debt and that kind of thing. And I forget what she did, but she had more of a direct way for people to send her money because YouTube was taking a portion of the money people were donating. Super chats. That's what it is. Oh, and I just see Belt Loop talking about super chats. He goes, some months it is the memberships, some months it is the super chats. I just happened to see that as I mentioned super chats. So because YouTube takes some portion of income for super chats, well, Belt Loop, just thank you for being here. So, and I do this, you know, sometimes I can't have the volume up when I'm on a live, just so y'all know. Oh, and Belt Loop says that they take 30%, which I think is like criminal, okay, for whatever YouTube is making. And this is the reason that I want the YouTube AdSense, right? For whatever percentage you get from AdSense. Now, there was a recent thing on YouTube where they were talking about some glitch in YouTube where some YouTuber saw what YouTube really makes on ads and was really upset. And I don't get into all that. But my point is, apparently, YouTube makes a lot of money. Not YouTube, Google, who owns YouTube, makes a lot of money from advertisers off of the videos that people make when they're monetized. And I see them putting commercials in lives. So I don't know if Google is making money off of your lives as well, because it used to be, I heard, that they did not advertise on lives. So everybody was like, oh no, you've got to make long form content and this and that to get advertising in. Well, I've seen advertisings in lives. So maybe Google is smarter and they're thinking, let's get as much advertising income as we can. So for whatever percentage that is, I want 100% of that AdSense income after I pay taxes. That's why I say it's all the proceeds. So after I pay whatever that 25% of whatever you make from YouTube goes to taxes, after that, all proceeds go to the homeless in my community. And I can't wait someday, and I don't care how many years it takes me, because I'm retired, so I just don't care. But however many years it takes me to get that first check, I will share with you all how much that first check is, and I will show you all how all of that income goes to the homeless in my community. Because that's my passion. You know, I talked earlier about helping people who are in jail. That's my passion. Every city, and I've lived in a lot of different cities, you know, over the years, I've always gone into jails to meet with the inmates. It's one of my passions. I've always tried to do something for the homeless. You know, another side trip, let's take another side trip. Oh, is Retirement Corner here? I'm not sure, but if not, everybody go to Retirement Corner's channel. If Retirement Corner is here, please type fire in the chat and it will put a link to your channel. Here, because I'm here, my channel is here to help everybody grow their channel. And that's why I support small YouTubers, is to help them grow their channel. So let's talk about the things that I really push on my channel, right? And I don't tell everybody that you should follow my channel to help the homeless or any of that. I tell you that you should follow my channel to pay off your debt, build wealth, and retire early. So the first thing that you should do is track your spending. Now, the other thing that I do, here's another community service thing that I do in my community. So I've talked about feeding the homeless. I've talked about going into jails. I also have a free monthly session at my local library where I help people in my community with their finances, to get their finances on track. Because I'm in a low-income town, a lot of the people in my town are low income. And so I'm trying to help them get their finances in order. And so the first thing I tell them is you have to track your finances. You have to know what's coming in and going out. Even me, I have to track my finances. I bet Julie over at Happy on Monday, because she said she's a spreadsheet nerd, we have to track our finances. I have to track my investments. I can't sit there and go, well, hope it's doing well. Or let me just throw money over here and hope and pray that it all makes money. Lately, I have started tracking my rentals even more. How much did I originally pay for them? How much are they worth today? That's appreciation. How much am I spending on maintenance? So, and Belt Loop says that he's in Mississippi and lots of underprivileged people here. Yes. See, I'm in South Alabama. So you've got Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. We are 3 states where there is a high poverty rate. And so we can help these people. And because I'm retired and because I'm financially free, I can help these people. And financially free doesn't mean, oh, he's rich. No. What it means is he has enough and he lives on less than what he brings in. That's what that means. So again, $900 a month, live on $500 a month. That's me. That's what I do. It's what I've done for so many years in order to get to where I am today. There was a time in my life where I would eat for $1 a week. Why? Because I was making bad decisions. And then when I came out of the homeless shelter, because I owed back rent, I owed this, I owed the IRS, I owed back child support, I was fishing and trying to catch enough fish for $2 a week to eat. See, now I've gone from that to where I am today, but I'm still frugal even after all these years. I just don't go out and buy a 70-inch big screen TV. One, I don't watch sports, so there's no need for me to have a 70-inch screen TV. Just no need for that. But that's just me. I'm just not a big sports fan. You know, I don't buy the sports jerseys. That's another quirk about me. Now, if everybody else wants to go out and support their sports teams and buy the jerseys and the jackets and all that, go for it. Go for it. I want my money invested. And I want all of my money working, like Lisa J. Stock says, to bring me more money. I don't want to go into a millionaire sports guy who plays baseball or football and brings in $20 million a year. I don't want my money going to that person. You know, so I know I keep mentioning Lisa J. Stocks. So, Shadow Scout Swede says a 70-inch TV are good if you watch movies and sports a lot. Yes. And Retirement Corner, thank you for coming. And Retirement Corner says frugality is a habit that never leaves you. No, it doesn't. I don't care how much money I make. I will always be frugal. Now, again, Ramit Sethi says this, that you spend lavishly on the things that are important to you and cut mercilessly on the things that don't matter to you. And that's individual. So whatever your situation is, some people have children that they want to spend the money on their children, and that's fabulous. You know, other people don't have children or their children are adults, and they say, well, okay, we're going to spend our money here. There is a channel that sometimes comes here, and I support them. And the channel name is Defam Adventures. And they talk about cruising on cruise ships. And I want to do more of that in the future. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it the way I want to do it, which is in a luxury fashion, right? So, but what's important to me is my vehicle, right? I have a Honda Accord. It's a 2-door, 6-cylinder. I had a trailer hitch put on my Honda Accord because my 6-cylinder Honda Accord can tow my motorcycle. So if I want to go to South Dakota with my motorcycle, I just put it in a single motorcycle trailer, hitch it to my car, and we go. So I need a 6-cylinder car. Now, I only buy 2 doors because I am still an adolescent, okay? I have never grown up from being that kid in high school that didn't have a car to seeing all my friends in high school with cars. And they'd have these cool 2-door cars and that. Well, when I became an adult, I said, I'm going to have me a 2-door car. And I've always had 2-door cars. Well, Honda doesn't make those anymore. So now I have to move from a Honda brand to another brand of two-door car. And so I've chosen the BMW, I think it's a 4 Series, is what I'm looking at. The point is, I want to pay cash for this car. And these are not inexpensive cars. The two-door car that I want is a two-door convertible, right? Now we're talking really expensive car. And so what does that mean? It means that my investments have to pay for that. It means that I have to save up money if I want to pay cash for that car. That's what that means. But where do I save up all of that money? Well, I save it from my investments. See, Robert Kiyosaki says, your assets pay for your liabilities. So my assets are my investments, my real estate, and the other asset that I have is Social Security. That's an asset. My pension from the federal government, as tiny as it is, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother life. As tiny as my pension is, it's an asset. And there are calculators that tell you how to calculate the value of a pension, because a lot of people don't put that in their net worth. But it does have value, and it can go in your net worth if that's what you choose to do. And so my pension, and I went through a bunch of different calculators, and I'm going to say it's only worth about $600,000. Many, many people have pensions that are worth $1 million and more dollars. However, I get that for the rest of my life. Now, if I can invest some of that money from my pension, then those investments live on past my life. And so that pension keeps on giving even after I passed away. That's my theory, and that's my plan. The same with Social Security. I plan to invest as much of my Social Security as possible so that when I'm gone, yes, Social Security stops, yes, my pension stops, but the money I invested from them keeps growing and keeps helping people, which is what this live is about. It's not about having the money, it's what can you do with the money to help your community or to help the causes that you believe in, whatever they are. Some people, I'm not a political person, this is not a political channel, but some people believe in donating their money to their political beliefs. That's fine. Whatever your cause is and whatever important to you, that is where your heart is. And nobody's saying that you should be out here on YouTube talking about, where your charitable giving is. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, when you're financially free, you have options. And you can do a lot more for your community when you're out of debt, when you have built wealth, for your family, your community, and the world. That's why we talked about this water project with MrBeast and Mark Rober of bringing clean water to 2 million people around the world. And us as YouTube creators could have donated to that, and I'm sure that they'll have another thing that they're doing next summer or something to help around the world. So YouTube could be a vessel for philanthropy. So just because my channel is built on that has nothing to do with it, because I am all about making money. I'm all about getting wealth, right? And that's what I want you to do. I want you to stack your income through YouTube in as many, many ways as possible. Some of you are already doing that. Some of you have not quite started yet, and you haven't quite gotten the idea. I've got other videos, if you want to go back and look at them, on how to increase your YouTube income, because I'm all about everybody creating their income. I have to read this comment by Beltloop. There are 5 things you can do with money. Spend it on things, give it away, buy experiences, buy time, and 5, save it. And he said, all but buying things brings happiness. And I buy free time with all of my different income streams. It buys me free time. You know, my friend Tiger on Fire, he's a YouTube creator. He's traveling the country, him and his wife, in their RV that they just bought, right? They retired early, they're selling their house, they're traveling the country. I'm gonna jump in my car and go meet him. Maybe next week. And so this is my point. We have time freedom. Because I teach as an adjunct online, I can teach from anywhere. I have taught from the beach in Belize. I could teach from Costa Rica. And yes, I plan to go to Costa Rica. I plan to go to Ecuador. I plan to go to the Galapagos Islands. Any place on earth that has internet, I can teach and make money. I could be sitting in Thailand right now and work with my students. This is the kind of freedom that you want to build in your life, right? You want the life that allows you to make money when you sleep, make money no matter where you are in the world. And so I do at least 2 of the 5 things that Beltloop was talking about. I buy time and I'm buying experiences. Over the years, more and more, I'm going to buy experiences. And it starts in 2026 with me paying off all my debt. So I'm debt free. I'll have a savings, an emergency fund, those kinds of things. And mostly the emergency funds are for my rentals. If anything happens to my rentals, they need repairs or they need a new roof, I want the money to be there. Right now I have a line of credit. Of course, I could just draw on that and fix whatever I need to fix. But then I take my teaching income and pay off the lines of credit. I want to stop doing that. I want an even higher level of financial independence going into 2026. So before I end this, I'm going to actually, for the first time in God knows how many months, stop the poll so everybody can see the poll results. But also, I want everybody to put in the chat, if you can, what your goals are for 2026. If it's to grow your channel, fabulous. If it's to bring in $1,000 a month from YouTube income, fabulous. I mean, all the different types of YouTube income, memberships and merch. And I don't know if Lisa J. Stocks is still here, but I'm not sure if she has merch. I don't know if I've seen it. I'm going to have to look and see. But if she doesn't have merch, I hope she gets merch. Because her channel is just blowing up. You know, some people's channels just blow up. That's what they do. And I think it's fabulous. So I am going to stop the poll. I'm going to end the poll, and it takes a few seconds for it to show up here, which it showed up really fast today. Normally it takes quite a bit longer. So 21% of the people said that they would not. Would you support more YouTube creators donating a part of proceeds to charity? And I totally get that. You know, if I was struggling, and first of all, I was too scared to start a YouTube channel when I was struggling financially. I just was. I was well into retirement before I started my YouTube channel. And so I don't know if I could have come on YouTube and told people, hey, I don't have any money, I need money, or I'm, trying to make money. I have something dinging here, and it could be because I'm getting close to the hour, but I don't think so. Also, this is the first, I'm not sure what's making noise here in my background. I probably have an email message from one of my colleges, and that's what that is. So When I have email open, it will ding when a student either submits an assignment or something like that, because it sends that notification over to email. And that's what happened there. So this has been the first live where I've made it the entire hour in a month or two. We have had water main breaks outside. We've had bad internet buffering. We have had every different issue. And so I'm happy that I have finally done a 1 hour live. And as you all know, there'll never be 4 or 5 hour lives here with me, because I believe you get in, you get your message out, and you get on with your day, which is me. I'm retired. I want to get on with my day. I'm not retired to sit here on YouTube, although I watch YouTube all day, right? I just don't want to be on YouTube all day. So if you're having a 4 hour live, I'll be there. So. And everybody go to Shadow Scout Swedes. He is a prepper. Go to his YouTube channel if you really want to learn survival things. And that comes in handy for us frugal people as well. You know, I buy in bulk and I keep enough supplies so that I have plenty and I don't run out, right? I buy enough stuff to last me 6 months or a year so that I don't have to go and spend money on something every single week. That's how I am. So I have gone over my hour, which is totally unusual for me, and we'll see if we can't do this again next week. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Please, if you can donate to something of your particular liking, whatever that is, then please do something in your community. You know, do something for the people where you live. And that's what I try to do. And that's what my channel is all about, helping the people in the community where I live. Thank you all so much. I will see you all next week. Bye. I'm seeing good messages there. See you all next week.